VMX Show Season 4.
Hey everybody, welcome to the VMX Show. I'm Nick or VMX, and this is Season 4, Episode 11, penultimate episode of the season. That's right. Next episode, it all ends. Well, for the season, at least until Season 5. I do want to let you guys know that that episode may be a bit late. Not going to be around. Let me tell you guys what's going on, actually. First, let me tell you what that song was, because you're probably saying, oh man, that's such a beautiful song. What was that? That was the main theme from the original Call of Duty, the PC one. So there you go. Had a great soundtrack. But okay, yeah, actually, I don't know. Some people call it the main theme. Some people say what plays on the title screen is the main theme. That one plays in the credits. I don't know. It doesn't have a particular name like a lot of the songs from that game had, so there you go. But let me tell you guys what's going on. As you know, I'm doing the Mortal Kombat feature, and the timing of this is actually really good because starting this Thursday on the 18th, I'm not going to be around. I'm going to be at my friend's house sitting. Him and his wife are going away for like a week, a little longer than like 10 days. And they asked me to look after their house. And I'll be on, I'll have the computer there and the internet and all that, but I won't have access to all the equipment that I need to make videos. But that's good because, the Mortal Kombat feature is waning. And I have a whole big thing that I haven't announced. This is like a secret, surprise thing that I'm going to be doing fairly soon that was recorded months ago. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to burn all those onto like a DVD, or maybe it'll fit on a CD actually. It's like 16 videos, and I'm going to go over there and just upload them from there. So even though I won't be around to upload, to do new videos, to create new content, I have content that no one's seen that will be going up then. But as for VMX Show and Clearing Confusion, they're probably going to have to take a break on the 20th and 21st, which is next weekend. So, the 28th, I won't be back yet, but I'll probably do the VMX show on the Monday after, which is the 29th, so, no big deal there, because I'll be back then. So, yeah, just letting you guys know what's going on, and then well, actually, the super secret thing that I haven't told anyone about will still be going. So, there's that. But then after that, we'll dive right into Mega Man 2, which I know a lot of people are looking forward to. But anyway, I got a great show for you. Got your questions and comments. I got the news. I got lots of great music to play. No guests this week, so we're playing a little bit more music. But let's get to your questions and comments right away. Let's see. The first guy to talk about is Uber McFailsauce. Love the username. Says, would you rather play every wrestling game ever made or listen to all of Insane Clown Posse's music for a day? Oh, well, how long do I have to play each game is the question. Both of those things sound pretty terrible. I guess whichever one I can get through quicker, which depends on how long I have to play each wrestling game. I guess the wrestling games would be more fun, though, because I could at least goof on it and make fun of it, while with Insane Clown Posse, the only thing I can do is beat my head against the wall until I lose consciousness and can't hear it anymore. And that's painful. So I think I'll go with the wrestling games on that. So yeah. Let's see. Ildoratus asks me if I play any instruments. I play with my organ all the time. No, I'm joking. That's a masturbation reference. No, I don't play any instruments. When I was a teenager, I dabbled in a little bit of guitar, but I wouldn't say that I was any good at it. As a matter of fact, in retrospect, I think it's safe to say that I straight up sucked at it. So I don't even count that as being an instrument that I played. When I was a kid, I also dabbled in a little piano, and I probably could have been good if I stuck with it, but I didn't, so there's that. I'm more into listening to music than playing it. Even though I do enjoy playing games like Guitar Hero and Rock Band, it's a lot more simplified, so. WWE 12345678990QQA says, can you tell a joke on your next Mortal Kombat game? And this is for the VM. Oh, okay, yeah. This is for the VMX show. What old system do you like better, and what was the most fun Mortal Kombat game you played before? Not sure what you mean by what old system do I like better. I mean, I if you ask me like what my favorite classic system is, I answer that all the time, and I answered that last week when I said it was the Super NES. So moving on, most fun Mortal Kombat game is the new one. It's awesome. Mortal Kombat. It's just called Mortal Kombat, but like everybody calls it Mortal Kombat 9. To differentiate it. Razarath92 says, have you ever seen the film Oversexed Rug Suckers from Mars? It's about aliens who come to Earth to get a homeless man to fuck a vacuum cleaner to make a human vacuum cleaner hybrid. I couldn't make this shit up if I tried. No, I've never seen that. I've never even heard of it until you mentioned it. And all I gotta say... Rug Suckers, I get the joke now. All I gotta say... Is this is it a porno? I mean... Like a bizarre porno. You know what? I can't imagine that. I mean, it sounds like it would be either amazingly awesome or it would just suck ass. So I'm actually, right now, I'm going to look this up on the IMDb and see what the deal with this is. Because I don't think you're lying, but I'm almost ready to, oh my god, it was in 1989. I was almost ready to call shenanigans on the idea. It was made in 1989. It's a comedy science fiction film. It's got a 3.1 on IMDb, which is not very positive. Let's see what the summary says. Aliens return to Earth after 10 million years. What, they were here before? To see what was become of a human experiment. Oh, it's one of those. They created, only to be disappointed by what they find. After landing, they come upon Vernon, a homeless bum, and decide the Earthlings are untidy, and figure crossing a vacuum with a human will eliminate the problem as well as create a better race of beings. For aliens that have mastered space travel, they sure are fucking dumbasses, huh? The experiment, however, goes awry after one of the aliens pee in Vernon's bottle of gin, which makes him insanely in love with the vacuum Dusty, which is brought to life by the aliens. Things get a tad bit... What? Things get a tad bit crazy from here as Dusty tries to reproduce and Vernon's tries hard to find Dusty. Wow, that's something, all right. I mean, that I don't know what to say to that. I'm just going to move on because that's just too weird for me. He also says, congrats on almost 5,000 subscribers. It's funny because I get subscribers at a pretty good pace. Some days I'll get like 1 or 2, some days I'll get like 10. But there's a site that I visit that, gives you all the pertinent info. And it says that I get an average of 6 a day, which I think is pretty cool. That's also, it weighs the fact that sometimes people unsubscribe or whatever, but it's 6 new subscribers a day on average. But it always seems to slow down right when I'm very close to a big milestone like 5,000. I remember I was racing towards 4,000, and once I got like within 20, like when I had 1,380, it slowed down to a crawl. It always happens, and I'm sure it doesn't mean anything. It seems that way. Like, I'm gonna look at this. I'm looking at this right now. I'm gonna look at this right now. If you look at like the past like 15 days or so, there's a day where I got 15, there's a day where I got 12, there's 2 days where I got 11, there's a day where I got 10, a day where I got 8. And then recently, there's a day I got 0, there's a day I got only 3, there's a day I minus 1. So, I mean, it always slows down. So it's like getting those milestones, it's on the top of a steep hill, I can't... I mean, and this thing also predicts when you'll reach certain milestones. According to this, it'll happen tomorrow. Maybe not. We'll see. I'm due for a good day. Last good day I had was 8, which was on the 12th. It also says I'll reach 6,000 in 155 days. So it's pretty positive, It also gives you view goals and everything. It's a pretty cool site. If you ever check us out, it's socialblade.com/YouTube, and then you just put your username in, and it won't pop up right away. But what it'll do is it'll add the user, which is you or whoever you want to look at the stats, to be crawled, and then you check back the next day, and it'll have start crawling your stats. So there you go. So let's move on here. Oh, I got too much shit open. Let's go to the next question. Okay. This is from the amazing Tony Rose. He was on the show last week. Thanks, Necro. It was a pleasure coming onto your show. These podcasts are great. Keep it up. Well, thank you. It was a pleasure having you on. One thing I'd like to clarify is I made an error when I gave the number of members we had on my site. I gave the number we had before we rebooted the site. The number is smaller now. Just a mistake. No big deal. You know what? Don't even worry about it. You'll get there. Question. What is the thing you really look... okay, let me try and read this better, because I'm failing at it. What is the thing you really look most for in an RPG? The character progression, the side quests, the challenge, the storyline? Oh, yeah, that's tough. I think it's a mixture of everything, really, but I think the most important thing is the gameplay. I could take a stupid story if the gameplay is fun. For example, there was an action-oriented RPG on the Super NES called The Illusion of Gaia, which I think was made by NX. And I don't know if the original game was like that or if the translation was just that ass, but the game literally makes 0 sense. Like, nothing is ever explained. The story just goes in wild directions at the drop of a hat. The characters just change personalities randomly. The narration, there's a narrator, and the guy just doesn't seem to know what's going on. And I was playing it a couple of years ago, and I was just like, I would have stopped playing this a long time ago, except the gameplay is awesome. I might do an LP of it one day, too, because I think it would be a very funny LP. Because a lot of times shit happens and nothing's explained, and I'm just like, yeah, sure, why not? After a while. And I kept thinking, it'll eventually get explained. Everything will tie together. And it never did. At the end, okay, the ending's going to explain everything, but the ending didn't explain shit, so... That'll show you what happens there. I gotta say, the story is good because, it can help draw you in. A lot of times I know people who, you can get them interested in a game just by telling them what it's about. Like, for example, Chronicles of a Dark Lord. A lot of people say, well, it's a game where you play as a villain, and you're fighting against nihilists, and you're an evil emperor. And they're like, well, that sounds interesting. I'm going to check this out. So, and I'm like, yeah. So, a lot of times story can draw you in, but I think gameplay is what I look for the most. Moving on, Lemur Kong says, "Hey Necro, I recently watched your History of Final Fantasy playlist / documentary thing. I have to ask, when will you make another one like Dragon Quest or Zelda?" Oh, I dread this question. I had been working on the Zelda one, and I just kind of stopped because I got so busy. I do these in my spare time, and I don't have a lot of spare time. And I got so busy with everything, and my motivation to do it is kind of, I'm not as into Zelda as I used to be, and it's I want to say half done, but it's been half done for a long time. It'll get done eventually, but man, I gotta get myself motivated to finish it. But yeah, I can't tell you when. I can tell you the next one definitely is Zelda. Let me move on. The Froster 420 says, "Oh my god, Skyrim music is amazing." It was a really great episode, Necro. Yeah, this Skyrim music is pretty cool. Bungholio281 Bungholio says 12:05. I guess something funny happened at 12 minutes and 5 seconds that made him LOL. Let's check it out. Let's go to 12:05 in the video, huh? We're gonna check this out live on the VMX show.
Circulation 211 says, "Would you?" Oh God! All right.
Oh yeah, okay, it was that one. All right. Let's move on. The Tracks of My Tears 1 says, "I think Mark Mac." What? Okay. Maybe someone else can explain what this guy's talking about because I have no idea. He says, "I think the Mark Mac Pota was okay, decent, but I haven't seen it since it was out at the cinema." Huh. Mark Mac Pota. I'm going to Google that just in case this is like a real thing that I don't know about, because Mark... Okay, I got Porta Mark Hot Stamper marking foils. I got a doctor's office, a dentist. I don't know what you're talking... Mark Mac Pota? What is a Pota? That's what I want to know. Let's see what that's... Pota? Pota.org? No, that's... No, I don't know what the Prevention of Terrorist Activities Act. I have no idea what you're talking about, dude. I mean, no offense, but really, did you really think I was going to know what you're talking about? Let's move on. Nightmare Beast 89 says, "Hey Nick, a great show as always. I was wondering what your reaction to the Zelda... What's your reaction? That's not a word, dude. Reaction? To the Zelda timeline. Game, sequel, prequel. Okay, you said the word sequel and prequel like a million times. How do you spell it wrong so many times? You know what? I'm going to be talking about it eventually in Clear and Confusion. And a lot of people have asked me about, like how many episodes I'm doing of Clear and Confusion, like if there's a set number and when I'm going to do the Zelda timeline. There is a set. It's going to be 3 seasons, and the Zelda timeline, when I do that, it will be the last episode. So, it's a ways off, but I will do it. Super Deluxe 80 says, "Street Fighter AE, I guess he means Arcade Edition, was unplayable on PC till they removed it." So they removed what? "After all the hate on the Unity site. Hopefully they cured, no need to..." Oh, DRM, okay. DRM is encouragement to bootleg. No, okay, see, DRM is a reaction to bootlegging. If people didn't bootleg games to begin with, there would be no need for it. So that's a nonsense excuse. CoolVids19 says, "Dangerous!" Okay, cool comment. Zzor159 says, "Found this through Zero Gaming. Sounds great. I think I might subscribe." Well, do it. I'm just messing with you. Super Scarnori says, "Hey, your videos are really cool, and you have..." Okay, I can't read this. I mean, I'm so glad that you're enjoying what I do, but you got to work on the spelling, man. I can't read that. Razoraf92 says, "What makes you regard the film District 9 so highly? I still enjoy the film, though I did find it to be as preachy as retarded." I think he means Avatar. "It's definitely an 8 out of 10. No, it's definitely a 10 out of 10. No, sorry. What makes me regard the film so highly? It's awesome. Did you see it? All right, Uber McPhail Sauce also says, the reason I think Ocarina of Time is overrated is because I've seen it get called the greatest video game of all time more times than any other game I can think of, and I wouldn't even call it the greatest Zelda game, let alone the greatest video game ever. Well, I do agree with you there, but I don't really see people calling it the greatest. I mean, they did when it came out, but I don't really see that anymore. So, I don't know, maybe it was overrated when it came out. Or maybe you're just talking to different people. That's more likely, I think. Dave Cornfan says, great episode as always, man. Have you ever farted in a child's face? And if so, why? Does my sister count? Because I did fart in her face once. Or twice, or maybe a couple of dozen times. No, when we were kids, you know. Mr. Irate Fan says, what do you think of the Irate Gamer? He sucks. Moving on. No, in serious, I really... I don't give a shit about him. I think he's very unoriginal. I don't think he's funny, you know? Even if he was, like, completely original and nobody had done what he's done before, he's not funny, so... It just, you know, it doesn't appeal to me at all. What's your stance on the controversy surrounding him? I don't know, but, I mean, I know that James Rolfe said that he's a plagiarist, and I don't know if he really is or not. I just know my opinion is that he bores me to tears. Roy Story says, a quick note on the Marvel vs. Capcom 3 winners from EVO. The full teams were Wesker Hager and Phoenix from Viscan, and Dante, Wolverine, and Tron from PR Raj. That final day was intense. Watched most of it with my friends. Well, thanks. I was wondering about that, because the news article I was reading just didn't really have all the information that I wanted. And finally, Max Spender says, I was watching from... Okay, let's back that up. I was watching From Russia with Love earlier today, a great performance from Robert Shaw in that film. Anyway, I was surprised to find it was released as far back as 1963. I didn't think it was that old. Yeah, it's aged well, hasn't it? I've seen it several times, as it was one of my dad's favorite films. It got me wondering how you got introduced to Bond. Was it through your dad watching these old films as you were growing up? Oh, no. Yeah, it was actually my grandparents. So there you go. That's how that happened. Also, my own curiosity. I'll tell you specifically how I got into Bond was, when I was a kid, when I had summers off from school, a lot of years I would spend the entire summer at my grandparents' house, which was in the country. We lived in the city. We don't live in the city anymore. We live in the middle of nowhere now. But lived in New York City. And we would go to upstate New York to stay at my grandparents' house, which was in the country, for 2 months every year. Almost every year. Anyway, we watched a lot of movies. You know, almost, I would say 4 or 5 nights a week, we would, either rent a movie or, watch some movie that was on, late at night. And one day we watched The Living Daylights, and it was my first, experience with Bond. And of course, I, wanted to see a lot of the older films. I didn't know at the time that it was like, at the end of the time of a long string of movies. So another thing is that also I would watch at Channel 11, at WPIX, and they would show movies on the weekends that were like old classics. They showed a lot of really cool movies there. So I would it's like the first time I saw like King Kong and like Frankenstein. So a lot of it had to do with my grandparents. A lot of it had to do with me myself. So let's. That's it for questions and comments. Let's play a little more music, huh? Now, I'm feeling a little bit of a Dragon Age mood. As a matter of fact, I was just playing Dragon Age last night, up until way too late. I was playing it. I was like, no, man. I was going to start Assassin's Creed, because I've had that game sitting around for, like, ages, and I haven't played it yet. And as much as I do want to play it, I've just been saddled with the overwhelming urge lately to play Dragon Age Origins, so I was like, you know what? This is not going to go away. I'm going to fucking play the game. Fuck it all. And it doesn't take me that long to get through. But, so I started playing that, and I'm like, I'm in a sort of a mood for that. So let's play some music from Dragon Age Origins. Coming at ya. Everybody, sing along. You know the words. That was from Dragon Age Origins. It's called I Am the One. I Am the One. So there you go, Dragon Age Origins. Let's get to the news. Let's do that, huh? I don't have too much to talk about this week, but I do have some interesting news. So let's see what we got here. Where's my news? Oh, here we are. Okay. For fans of id Software who are looking forward to their next game, which is called Rage, you might want to think about getting it for PC, or if you have both the 360 and the PlayStation 3, you might want to think about getting it for PS3. Or if you have Xbox, you might want to think about just playing it from the disc, even though that might make the load times longer. It takes up a ridiculous amount of space on the Xbox 360's hard drive, 22 gigs. And there will be no partial fixes. Here's a quote from John Carmack, creator of Rage, as well as a lot of other series like Doom and Quake, and head of id Software. On the 360, we don't have a partial install option. It's all or nothing, which is kind of unfortunate. It means you have to install 21 to 22 gigabytes of stuff, which takes a long time, but if you've got it and you play it on the 360, that's the way to go. Once you get everything from memory, that works pretty good, but if you're coming straight from the hard drive, then the first time you walk into everything from the DVD or from the Blu-ray, even worse in terms of total latency time, you listen to that Blu-ray churning around, it's pulling everything in. I think he's a little confused. Xbox 360 obviously doesn't use Blu-ray, so he's also referring to the PlayStation 3 version, obviously. Now, here's a funny one. I like this one. Duke Nukem Forever, the subject of the next episode of Clear and Confusion, a game that took an amazing 14 years to make, which you know they had to have sunk a lot of money into it. They changed engines several times, they changed employees, they changed companies at one point. The original company that started it went out of business. So, you know, I mean, and then it was released and it wasn't even that good, but check this out, it actually made a profit. That's right, Duke Nukem Forever made a profit. That is just, you know, wow. So, I mean, you know, like, I guess that means there'll be a sequel. Actually, the first part of their plan is there's going to be some DLC. There's already been a patch to, you know, make it work a little better, but there will be DLC for the game, you know, sometime on the horizon, and some more modern-feeling Duke gameplay is coming. The second phase is going to be actually expanding Duke into other media. So, you know, no news on exactly what they mean about that, but, you know, who knows. But, yeah, they actually did make money off of it. I spoke to my friend Joey, and he's a big Duke Nukem fan. He thought that Forever sucked, unfortunately. But, you know, when I was talking about this, that it made money, he said, you know, it was probably from the 6 million people pre-ordering it over a span of 14 years. I know that's not an exact number. That's just him messing around. Mortal Kombat, as we know that originally they said there would be 4 DLC characters to Mortal Kombat, and we got Kenshi, Scarlet, Rain, and Freddy Krueger. Well, I was watching the Freddy vignette from Mortal Kombat on YouTube from the Mortal Kombat Community Manager thing, and it said, Freddy, at the end, Freddy available August 9th, 2011, new combatants coming this summer. This summer, it's August. What are you talking about? Does this mean that there will be more than 4 DLC characters, or does this mean that somebody fucked up? Interesting thing to think about, right? So, got some bad news for all 3 fans of THQ Software. They are, well, actually, it could be good news depending on if you like, certain types of games or whatnot. Bad news for employees of THQ. They have downsized their entire operation. They have let 200 people go. And they said they're going to be moving away from titles for younger gamers and licensed titles, and they're going to be working on, I guess, more serious stuff. They said, obviously Saints Row the Third is coming out. There's a game called Insane coming out. Space Marine, Darksiders 2, Warhammer 40,000, Dark Millennium Online, and WWE All-Stars. But they said that there are certain series that are coming to an end, and I can inform you that MX versus ATV is definitely over with for now, at least. Although, who really cares? I mean, who plays that? I don't know anybody that plays that stuff. All right, so, a little update to stuff to do with Operation Rainfall. Of course, that's the grassroots fan-started movement to get the games Xenoblade Chronicles, formerly known as Monado, The End of the World, Xenoblade Chronicles, Pandora Tomorrow, and what's that other one? I don't know why I can't think of it right now. I usually am able to rattle them off like no problem. Pandora Tomorrow, Xenoblade, and The Last Story. There we go. I just had to say it faster. They are coming out in Europe, as we know, which is bullshit. That, they translated it into English and everything and are not releasing it in North America. But Operation Rainfall is trying to get Nintendo to do this. I fully support them, and I hope that everybody else out there does. Well, Nintendo's been sort of radar silent on everything so far. Well, Reggie, the president of Nintendo of America, recently stated, "We will be watching very closely what happens in Europe. Certainly, if there are business opportunities and positive consumer uptake from some of those titles, that will be great data for us to consider as we look back at what to do with these titles." So, in other words, if you're in Europe, buy these fucking games so that they can possibly come out in America. Reggie, thank you. This one's a rumor, so don't take my word for it, but it looks like Nintendo will be updating their Nintendo Selects, which is, of course, it's like the million sellers on the Wii, sort of like, Player's Choice, where the games are re-released at budget prices. Earlier this year, they had released a bunch of Nintendo Selects, like Mario Super Sluggers, The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess, and Animal Crossing City Folk. The rumor is that Super Mario Galaxy, Super Paper Mario, and Punch-Out, and also Mario Strikers Charged, will join the Nintendo Selects, which will be re-released for only $19.99. That would be great for people who want to get Super Mario Galaxy and Super Paper Mario, those two in particular. I get Mario Strikers Charged to a lesser extent, but any Mario game, to get it used, you're usually paying very close to full price. So, So check that out. I don't know if that's true. That is only a rumor. So, let's see. Capcom. I talked about this last week. Are they killing off the Mega Man franchise? Are they dicking around with it? What's going on? And a lot of people have been saying the same thing. Are they killing off Mega Man? They canceled Mega Man Universe. They canceled Mega Man Legends 3. And the original creator of Mega Man has left the company. There's been no news of any new Mega Man games coming out. No Star Force 4, another Mega Man ZX, Mega Man 11, another Mega Man X, nothing. There's been no news. So what's going on? Capcom responded to the accusations that they're trying to kill off the Mega Man franchise. They've responded rather lamely, I think. Another thing is that, there was no Mega Man character in Marvel vs. Capcom 3, And now they're going to be releasing Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. Still, no Mega Man. What up with that, home slice? I mean, Mega Man Volnut and Roll were in Tatsunoko vs. Capcom, but that was a couple of years ago. So what's going on? I mean, have they just decided that Mega Man's not something they do anymore? Or with Inafune gone, they just don't care? He's not there to push it? I mean, I want to give you guys a little history lesson. Originally, when Inafune created Mega Man, he brought it to the company, and they said, well, this isn't going to sell. And they weren't going to release it, and they found a way to market it, and they did release it in a very limited quantity at first in Japan. And of course, it was a huge hit. So, you never know, but apparently the higher-ups at Capcom really just have something against Mega Man. It seems that way anyway. But, Christian Svensson, he is, what is he at Capcom? I'm trying to see who the hell he is. Well, he's some management guy from Capcom. He was asked at a recent Q&A, are you killing off Mega Man? What's going on with that? He says, oh, absolutely not. I wish I had something to hold and display for you that's the case, but I don't right now, but super, super important to us, I do want to express that. Well, I mean, these are the guys that just suddenly out of nowhere canceled Mega Man Legends 3, and then basically said, oh, it was because the fans didn't participate in the forums that we canceled it, which is lame. And then they're saying, oh, no, we like Mega Man. We're just canceling all his games and not putting him in anything and not talking about him. So, kind of lame. I don't know. It's piss. All right. And finally, I said I didn't have a lot to talk about, but it was interesting, and this one is very interesting. Very interesting. If you remember, I don't think it was last week, I think it was a couple of weeks ago, I talked about The Blinding of Isaac, which is a game being created by Edmund McMillan, who is one half of Team Meat, and they made Super Meat Boy, which is one of the coolest games I've ever played. Well, anyway, he said that he would be working on this new game called The Blinding of Isaac, and that it would be a huge tribute to one of his favorite games of all time. Well, I can't tell you that it's coming out sooner than you think. This guy, Edmund McMillan, he made Super Meat Boy with one other guy. He also worked on Braid. The new project, The Blinding of Isaac, will be on Steam next month. So that's pretty cool. It's going to be $5, and I can tell you that it's definitely very, very based on The Legend of Zelda. I mean, it looks like the original Legend of Zelda, only, if it was like Legend of Zelda Hellish Nightmare from fuck shit. I mean, it looks absolutely frightening with the, blind mutants and blood and puke and just globs of fluids everywhere. But it does look like Zelda. It looks like the original Zelda. The story has to do with Isaac escaping to the basement when his own mother receives word from God that she must make a sacrifice to prove her faith. When Isaac learns the sacrifice happens to be him, he escapes to the basement where he must battle his way through various dungeons under the floorboards, defeating his lost brothers and sisters, and eventually becoming powerful enough to face his mom. Ugh. Just looking at it, it's just like, looks gross. But it's the guy who helped make Super Meat Boy, which was also kind of gross, and helped work on Braid, which is brilliant. So I'm certainly, that'll be a day one purchase for me. I mean, $5 on Steam, I'll fucking get that right away and probably enjoy the shit out of it. Wow, just looking at the screenshots, it just looks gross. It looks like if Super Meat Boy got like a disease and took a shit. I mean, I guess that doesn't sound very flattering, but I'm definitely going to be playing it. Well, that's it for the news. I told you I don't have much this week, but I'll play a little more music. How's that sound? I know you guys like hearing some video game music, so let's play a game here. I will play the song. You try and think up in your head what it's from. And at the end of the song, I'll tell you. Don't leave a comment. Don't leave a comment about it. Just wait till the end, and I will tell you what game the song is from. So let's play something. Tell me if you know what this is from. Or don't tell me. Just think about it. What? You didn't know it? Oh, how do you not know that? That's Cthulhu Saves the World. You haven't played Cthulhu Saves the World? You should. It's awesome. It's only $3. You can get it on Xbox Live Indie Games or Steam. Actually, the people who made it, they also made another game called Breath of Death 7: The Beginning, which is sorry about that. Sort of a similar old-style RPG sort of thing. And that you can get them both on Steam for $3, meaning both of them together for only $3, which is an awesome deal. Actually, I don't know if that's still active. When I bought it, it was, but that could be a sale. Let me open up Steam right now, and I'll tell you. It's got pretty cool music, and the graphics are very 8-bit, but pretty cool stuff. Definitely a comedy based RPG, not like a serious game or anything. But you know what? I was just messing with you guys. That was way too hard. I'll play you another song and an easier one, and you could tell me what you think the next one is. But first, let me look this up. Let me look up how much it costs now. If you can still get them both for $3, because that's pretty cool. Let's see. I'll just search for Breath of Death. Yeah, you can get the bundle, Cthulhu Saves the World and Breath of Death 7 double pack for only $3. Totally worth it. Totally worth it. Highly recommend that. So, check that out. Or you can buy them separately for $3 each, but why would you do that? But here's another song. Tell me what you think this one is, and then we'll end the show. Yeah. So that was a bit easier. Did you know what that was? Well, if you said Breath of Fire, then you would be wrong. It does sound like it's from Breath of Fire, though, doesn't it? That's actually from Super Ghouls and Ghosts. One of the composers also worked on Breath of Fire, and you could definitely hear the influence there. I mean, of course, I think Breath of Fire definitely came after Super Ghouls and Ghosts, but you could definitely hear that definite style of what the person was doing. So, let's end the show as we always do with video game sales charts for the week. Let me bring that up real quick. I'm a little unprepared today. Not feeling too great today, I just feel like I maybe got like some major allergies going. So, let's see the top 10 best-selling games in America. Let's start with America. Why not? Because I usually do. For the week ending in August 6th, the number one selling game was Mario Kart Wii, really, I mean, that game came out ages ago. And I know, like, Wii Sports is on here, you know, I mean, that's on here every week, and that came out, like, 7 years ago. But Mario Kart Wii disappeared from the charts for a long time, and now it's just back, and now it's the #1 best-selling game in America this past week? Holy shit. It sold 45,555 copies. Just Dance 2 on the Wii sold 40,937 copies. NCAA Football 12 on the 360 sold 37,115 copies. Wii Sports Resort on the Wii sold 29,447 copies. Zumba Fitness on the Wii sold 28,837 copies. NCAA Football 12 on PlayStation 3 sold 28,719 copies. Bleach Soul Resurrection on PlayStation 3 sold 27,676. Okay, try that again. It sold 27,765 copies. Wii Sports on the Wii sold 24,532 copies. Wii Fit Plus on, guess what? The Wii sold 24,512 copies. And Pokemon Black and White version on the DS sold 24,385 copies. Here's what's going on in Japan. They got higher sales in Japan. J-League Pro Soccer Club Otsukoro 7 Euro Plus on PlayStation Portable sold a lot, 101,239 copies. At Tsumete Kirby, which we would call Kirby Mass Attack on the DS, that scored 73,261 copies sold. Toriko Gourmet Survival on PlayStation Portable sold 66,035 copies. Minino Rhythm Tengoku, what we would call Rhythm Heaven on the Wii, sold 63,624 copies. All Kamen Rider Generation on the DS sold 51,899 copies. Disney's Epic Mickey Mouse for the Wii sold 27,282 copies. I think it just came out in Japan. Family Fishing on the Wii sold 21,515 copies. Wii Sports Resort on the Wii sold 18,924 copies. Taiku no Tatsujin Portable DX on the PSP sold 15,544 copies. And Megami Ibunroku Devil Survivor 2, over here it would be called Shin Megami Tensei Devil Survivor 2, on the DS sold 13,711 copies. In Europe, the Middle East, Africa, and Asia, the big one was Zumba Fitness on the Wii with 63,245 copies sold. Mario Kart Wii sold 30,844 copies. Pokemon Black and White version for the DS, 30,784 copies. Wii Sports Resort on the Wii for 26,457 copies. Wii Sports on the Wii sold 21,185 copies. Just Dance 2 Extra Songs on the Wii sold 19,734 copies. Dirt 3 on the PlayStation 3 sold 15,656 copies. Wii Fit Plus on the Wii sold 14,451 copies. Cars 2, the video game for DS, sold 12,390 copies. And The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time 3D on the 3DS sold 11,481 copies. Notice something that's been missing? The Xbox 360. The only Xbox 360 game to chart was NCAA Football 12 on the 360 and only in America. Wow, that's weird. Usually you see a couple of 360 games on there. Very strange. But let's go to the hardware chart. Actually, before I do that, let me do the worldwide thing. So worldwide, the top 10 best-selling games are J-League Pro Soccer Club, blah, 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 Zumba Fitness on the Wii, Mario Kart Wii, Wii Sports Resort, Kirby Mass Attack, Toriko Gourmet Survival, Pokemon Black and White, Rhythm Heaven, Just Dance 2, and All Kamen Rider Generation. Okay, so now let's go to the hardware. The big selling console in America was, despite the games not selling, the Xbox 360 did well, with 76,173 units sold. The DS sold 58,795 units, PlayStation 3, 56,213 units, the Wii, 50,360 units, the PSP, 25,860 units, and the 3DS, 15,151 units. In Japan, the big seller was the PSP, 34,366 units. PS3, 18,856 units. The Wii, 16,953 units. DS, 7,650 units. 3DS, 4,028 units. And the 360, 1,417 units. Europe, Middle East, Africa, and Asia, the big seller was the PlayStation 3, 63,328 units. The DS, 49,025 units. The Wii, 47,454 units. The 360, 42,133 units. The PSP, 35,324 units. And the 3DS, 12,446 units. Worldwide, top-selling console was PS3, followed by the 360, the DS, the Wii, the PSP, and the 3DS. Languishing there. But the games are coming. The games are coming because, a lot of people have been not picking up the 3DS, and Nintendo's like, oh no, what do we do? Don't worry about it, guys. It'll sell. I mean, you just haven't had a whole lot of amazing games yet, because, look at it. You had, I know this is usually the end of the show, but I gotta talk about this real briefly. You had Ocarina of Time, but that's a game that we could have played on N64 and the GameCube, so it's like people buying it for possibly the third time, possibly the fourth time, really. But by the end of the year, we'll have Super Mario 3D Land, Shinobi, Sonic, Mario Kart 7, Kid Icarus, which is what I've been looking forward to for like ages. Star Fox, Cave Story, and a Tales game, Harvest Moon, a bunch of other games too. Those aren't the only one. There'll be a Pokemon game. I think it's like a fighting type of thing, but I just wanted to comment on that real quick. But that's the end of the show. We'll see you not next week, but probably the week after, and probably a day late. I know. What can you do? See you then for the last episode of the season. If you want to be on the show, that could actually get pretty awkward because I'm not always going to be here, but let me know soon, because it has to be done before Wednesday. So I'll probably not have a guest just because I just don't have the time to record it, but maybe I can get something in. We'll see. So we'll see you next episode. VMX out.